Some cats nap in the sun without a care in the world. Not Momoa. There's a certain tension in his eyes, as if he knows the world is full of secrets waiting to be revealed. He doesn't chase laser pointers, he chases truth. From the outside, he looks like a regular ginger cat. Soft fur, amber eyes, calm demeanor. But inside, he's a silent observer of chaos, a guardian of balance. There's something oddly wise about the way he watches, not with judgment, but with deep curiosity. In a world that's too fast, too loud, too distracted, Momoa teaches a rare skill, the art of noticing. And in this mystery, what he notices might just save a life. It all began with a noise no one else heard, a whisper in the dark, a shift in energy. While the humans in the house went about their routine, Momoa froze. His ears tilted, his pupils dilated, and his body dropped low to the floor, listening. To us, it's just a floorboard creaking or whined against the shutters. To him, it's a clue. It's the beginning of a story that hasn't been told yet. That's the thing about the unnoticed. They often hold the most power. And the moment you start seeing like Momoa, you begin to read the world differently, not through logic, alone, but through instinct, rhythm, and intuition. In that house, something was off, a rhythm disrupted. People fighting, forgetting things, tension hanging in the air like fog. But Momoa, he was mapping it all. Every sound, every scent, every moment when someone looked over their shoulder with unease. While others assumed it was stress or coincidence, he knew better. He followed threads, tracked patterns, and pieced together a truth no one wanted to see. That's how most problems in life begin, not with explosions, but with tiny fractures ignored for too long. And only the ones who pay attention can stop things before they break. We think of mysteries as crimes or puzzles, but the biggest mysteries are internal. Why am I stuck? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? Why can't I see the truth? That's what makes Momoa special. He doesn't solve mysteries to feel smart. He solves them to restore harmony. And in this story, as he follows the invisible thread of something dark lurking beneath the surface, we'll uncover insights that might reveal the missing clues in your own life too. The problem with humans is that they assume too quickly. One strange noise and we panic. One wrong word and we shut people out. We rarely pause to investigate, but Momoa, he never reacts without reason. When something changes in his environment, he doesn't jump, he studies. He moves slowly, intentionally, and with presence. And that's the fatal error most people make. They rush to react before understanding. That rush leads to broken trust, mistruths, and damage that could have been avoided with just a little more patience. Think about how this shows up in daily life. You get a vague text and assume someone is angry. You hear gossip and assume it's true. You see someone acting cold and assume it's about you. These reactions are fast and comfortable because sitting with uncertainty is uncomfortable. But that's where wisdom begins. Momoa teaches us that truth isn't always visible at first glance. Sometimes what looks like danger is just a shadow, and what looks like safety might be the real threat. That's why stillness is underrated. In one instance, Momoa sensed something odd in the basement. Everyone said it was just old pipes. But Momoa stood guard of the door, night after night, watching. Eventually, they discovered a gas leak that had been building quietly. If they'd ignored him, it could have ended in tragedy. That's the power of trusting subtle signals. Not everything screams, some things whisper. And if you're too busy or distracted, you'll miss what matters most. So here's a question worth asking yourself. What are you assuming too quickly? What are you reacting to without fully understanding? Could there be something beneath the surface you're ignoring? Like Momoa, maybe the smartest move isn't louder, but quieter. Maybe clarity doesn't come from doing more, but from observing better. And if you can learn to spot the mistake before it grows, you're not just solving a mystery. You're rewriting your story. Momoa doesn't move unless it's necessary. There's something ancient in that stillness, as if he's channeling an old soul. The Stoics believed in acting only when reason aligns with action, and that's Momoa in every step. While others are overwhelmed by emotion, he holds his ground, calm, quiet, and deliberate. He watches the chaos pass like a wave, knowing his moment will come. This isn't laziness, it's presence. It's control. And most importantly, it's wisdom. In one moment of tension, the humans in the house argued over a missing heirloom. Accusations flew, voices rose, but Momoa sat silently near the cabinet. He didn't meow, he didn't move, just observed. Hours later, they found the object behind that same cabinet, knocked over by a draft. Momoa had already solved the case. But instead of screaming it out, he waited for truth to unfold. That's Stoic power, knowing, and not needing to prove. We often think control means saying the right thing or acting at the perfect time, but real control is restraint. It's waiting when the ego wants to react. It's pausing when you feel triggered. It's choosing peace over being right. Momoa does this without thinking. It's in his nature. And maybe it should be in ours too. In a world pushing for speed, choosing slowness is revolutionary. Choosing awareness is rare. But that's exactly what makes it powerful. The next time you feel pressure to answer, prove, or react, ask yourself, what would Momoa do? Would he leap in blindly or wait and watch? Would he react out of fear or act from understanding? Stoicism teaches that freedom is found in choosing your response. And when you master that, like our feline philosopher, you become unstoppable. Not because you fight harder, but because you fight smarter. Momoa doesn't fake anything. If he is annoyed, he walks away. If he's affectionate, he leans into you. There's a beautiful honesty in his every move. No masks, no performance. Just raw alignment between feeling and action. This is coherence when your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are in sync. And it's rare in humans because we're taught to hide what's real. Smile when you're sad. Say, I'm fine when you're not. But living out of sync drains your soul. When you're incoherent, life feels heavy. You struggle to sleep, your energy feels blocked. You start questioning your purpose, your relationships, even your identity. And the worst part, you think the problem is outside of you. But often it's not. It's internal dissonance. You're living a life that doesn't reflect who you are. Momoa would never do that. He moves in harmony with his instincts. And that alignment is what makes him magnetic and trustworthy. People often say they want peace. But peace doesn't come from avoiding conflict. It comes from telling the truth. It comes from aligning your decisions with your deepest values. Whether it's leaving a toxic job, saying no to something you don't believe in, or expressing love without fear, coherence is the path. It's risky, yes, vulnerable, absolutely. But it's also freeing. And if you want to feel whole again, you have to be willing to be real. Next time you feel uneasy, ask yourself, where am I out of alignment? What am I pretending not to feel? And what would change if I gave myself permission to be honest? Momoa doesn't care if people approve. He cares if things make sense inside him. That's not selfish. That's sanity. And maybe it's time we stop lying to ourselves and start living like we mean it. Momoa solved the mystery not by running around, but by paying attention. And that's the lesson that lingers. In every moment, there are clues. To your relationships, your purpose, your healing. But if you're too distracted, too reactive, you miss them. So here's the question that changes everything. What am I missing because I'm too busy trying to control everything? The more you chase, the more you overlook. But the more you observe, the more the truth rises naturally. You don't need to solve every problem. Sometimes you just need to see it clearly. Just like Momoa, you have instincts, intuition, gut feelings, but the world teaches you to silence them, to be logical, efficient, safe. The problem is that safety often becomes numbness. And when you go numb, you stop noticing the whispers, the quiet signs, the inner voice saying, look again. Momoa invites us into a different rhythm, one that values presence over panic, awareness over answers. He shows us that real intelligence isn't about knowing everything, it's about seeing what others ignore. That applies to life, love, work, even health. The clues are there, always were. You just need to slow down enough to notice dots, so maybe. The mystery isn't about finding out who took the missing object or why the light flickers at night. Maybe it's about something deeper. Maybe it's about remembering how to listen to your environment, to your intuition, and to the silent signals that your heart's been trying to send. And once you see, like Momoa, the world becomes less confusing and more alive.